Well, hello. My name is Mark from HCMA Architecture and Design, and we are here again having a tilt conversation. Today I am with Rance, and Rance, why don't you tell us what you do and how you fit in here, and a little bit about how you see tilt, and a little bit about how maybe you've seen it come into play in the office here.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Rance. I'm a licensed architect here in the Victoria office, and my day-to-day role is I'm really involved in the projects that we have, so the very traditional architectural projects that we have. Just figuring out coordination and taking it from design to construction, what you might imagine that an architect might do. And I think what I like about Tilt and having Tilt in the office is that it is a way for us to explore these very informal moments in our lives that we don't really get to explore. I think like traditionally architecture, you have broad strokes of what the program is and what it is generally you have to deal with, but you never have a chance to curate or understand those small moments in the life where it's, if you're standing in a cafe and thinking about it when you have a small interaction with someone that you might not have. So Tilt, being experimental in that way, we have all these like fun practices where we do experiments like out on the street or in the office, and then they're really, for me, it's a really memorable thing to take with me as I do my design, so that when I'm looking at space, I can think generally, but then I can also think very specifically at these moments that you don't typically think of.
You mentioned informal moments. I think that's the first time I've heard that phrase used to describe it, and I like it a lot. I'm going to totally steal it.
Okay,
but
I'm not the first one to think of it.
Of course, but I love. Can you think of like real examples where you had an informal moment in when you stepped away from traditional architecture, looked at the world, accessed sort of some of these tilty type activities, where when you were in architect designer mode, where it informed a decision? Have you ever had a moment where you're like, man, had I not done that thing, I'm not sure I would have seen that or come to that conclusion? Has that ever occurred recently?
There's nothing specifically that's popping out in my mind, but I think it's more, we work in 3D digital space a lot.
Right.
So the way that I think we usually do things to test out our ideas and whether or not it's good spatially is we kind of rotate this model around,
right,
and we kind of throw ourselves in these imagined moments. But then you have this thing where you kind of sit there, you look at the computer screen, you're like, okay, well, like if I'm standing here at this moment or if I'm sitting here, what do I imagine I might be doing? So when you have those tilt experiments in the backlog of your memory, then you think, oh, well, actually, like you can have this moment or this moment.
More options that start to open up for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because you yourself, having done these experiments, like with the HCMA day, with like you embed yourself in these little experiments so that it's a lived-in thing that you take away, and then when you start to design space, then you can also imagine someone else having those moments.
Cool. So let's wrap up with one more question. When you look ahead to the years, and you're a young architect, what do you anticipate? What are you looking forward to, and maybe how does Tilt kind of guide that path for you when you look at where you or HCMA and we're here at the Victoria office, so are there things changing in Victoria? Do you see yourself here for the long term, and where does Tilt fit into that sort of scenario for you?
Yeah, I for sure see myself in Victoria long term, and I think the thing that Tilt probably does best is help us understand the space that we have, and then how we can take that forward into new projects. And I think for the new project part, in my mind, it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, we're going to build another building. Maybe it's not. I think in architecture, even when we're in school, we're always talking about building experiences. So that's where.
But then we get really caught up in
Yeah.
building
the actual
typology, the
form.
physical form of the building.
Yeah. Whereas we don't have to be tied to that anymore necessarily.
Amazing.
So, just
Amazing. Well, my friend Rance at HCMA in a Victoria office, always with smart things to say. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
Please join us again next time. We'll have another Tilt conversation. Until then, bye-bye.